Hey y'all, it's Pastor Jeremy again. This is our second video on the topic of baptism. So, number one, if you haven't watched the first video, I would encourage you to just push pause, go back and kind of watch the first video where I explain kind of biblically what baptism is. Because in this video, I want to talk to you about kind of the impersonal importance of baptism. What does it mean when we say, right, this is a step of obedience in your faith? So I gave my life to Jesus. I got saved in August of 1991. I was baptized shortly after that. And my baptism was significant to me because it allowed me to say a lot without having to actually say a word, right? I stood in the baptistry right here at this church, here at Graceway, and proclaimed through that baptism that I believe in Jesus and that I was prepared to follow Jesus for the rest of my life. But the other piece was the importance of the community that was gathered there that day. And this is why baptism is public. My faith and commitment to Christ was being affirmed by the church. That's why when people ask, hey, Pastor, could I be baptized at home? Our answer points back to this being that this is an act of public faith. Right? That's why we say, hey, we do want you to be baptized in a church. I understand sometimes the concept of feeling like I don't want to get up in front of a lot of people, but you have the opportunity to say a lot without actually having to say a word. Paul's words in Romans 1:16 should be a great motivation when we think about this, because he writes, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to anyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek." And that's why this is a step of obedience. You are publicly or outwardly declaring what God has done for you on the inside. And then you are giving us, right, the people that are in the room watching you, the honor and privilege of affirming that faith and commitment by celebrating your baptism. Your testimony of faith is incredibly important, not only to you personally, but also to the greater body of believers. And outside of that, it's also incredibly important to those who don't believe. Your story is unique and it's worth telling. The best place to start telling that story is in the act of your baptism. And as a pastor, I've had the opportunity of baptizing people with my role here at Graceway, and it's incredible to see how God uses that moment in their life to strengthen their faith, to encourage their faith, and to show them that they are not doing this journey alone. And not only that, the family and the friends and the support that they have, and then again, that opportunity for them to say to that entire group of people, whether they be believers or in many cases, whether they're not believers, that this is my faith and this is what I believe. Yes, baptism is most definitely symbolic, but it's also an incredibly holy act that brings an immense blessing and encouragement to you in your faith. And in doing so, you now also have an entire church body of people who support you, who pray for you, and agree, right, that your decision to follow Jesus is the most important decision a person can make. And now we are all in this together. I love that Jesus gets baptized and then immediately begins his earthly ministry. It's such a great picture of faith and a great example for you and I. As a believer in Christ, I need and you need to be a part of a community of other believers, and baptism is an immensely critical part of that process. So in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about just some of the logistics of baptism, especially here at Graceway, and some of the most important details that you need to understand about that special day. Thanks again for watching, and we really pray that as you consider the opportunity to get baptized, that God moves you in that direction.